And welcome back, sports fans, to another great episode of Post Game Overtime. The boys are back. The boys are back at it. We haven't gotten on video yet. That's coming hopefully next episode. We've been busy. We've been doing new things. We're living our life, but you know what? We missed you so much. What's it been? 2 weeks? 1 week? Oh, it's been too long. Brandon, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, it's been a bit of a I think it's been about 2 weeks since we've hopped on here. Again, you had some stuff going on. You were traveling. I was moving, and thankfully it's kind of a nice time where there wasn't a whole lot going on. So it kind of worked out well for us, actually.
Buddy, it's impossible to stay away from the podcast for too long.
Exactly. We're back, though.
How we like to play it.
We're
fast
back
and dirty.
I know we've got some UFC we're going to talk about, a little bit of NHL on the trade deadline at the end, but I don't know if you've heard this. You might have heard this. It only came out this morning, but did you hear that Netflix is officially having their own boxing event that will be streamed only on Netflix?
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I saw that. That's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know if the obviously the main fight that is kind
What's the main fight?
The main fight for it is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Just stupid.
So I don't know if that's gonna happen, but like the event itself is obviously still gonna happen. Like, this is Netflix trying to continue on and to branch into more stuff. We've already seen it where they've signed a deal with the WWE, and they're gonna have Monday Night Raw on there starting beginning of 2025. And so now this is their way of trying to get into boxing and have those live streams happening on there and bring more people over there. But again, this fight, first of all, I don't even think it's going to end up happening. Second of all, I don't really care for it, because I mean, like, why are we doing this? Like, why is this the route we're going down?
Because he's not a real boxer. It's a cash grab. It's the ultimate cash grab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. So what, you think one of them's gonna take a dive for the bag?
No, I don't think.
I mean, I don't think so, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird, like, that we're in a time now where we've got to. I mean, I know obviously lots of people are like, oh, he's a boxer, but at the end of the day, like, he is a YouTuber. That's his area. That's where he came from, and going up against someone like Mike Tyson, just like, why? Like, why are we doing this?
He's a show fighter.
Yeah,
it's not a
realistically, yeah.
He's a show fighter. So you see, okay. No, I don't think anyone's gonna take a dive, but I think it's gonna be a little bit.
A little bit.
I'm trying to find a good comparison. I don't want to say Logan versus Floyd, but it's the thing is Mike Tyson is so, like, to say past his prime would be rude. Like, Mike Tyson, I'm looking at, he's 57. He's almost 60.
Yeah.
He's almost 60. And the thing with Floyd, even when Floyd fought Logan, I get it was a big guy versus a small guy, but Floyd, like, never got hit. That was his career. He never got hit.
Yeah.
He was a defensive fighter. Tyson got hit. Tyson's been knocked down. Tyson has had those wars.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I don't want to see this. So are you familiar with the fitness influencer Sam Sulek?
No.
Look him up real quick.
Okay.
Do you have your phone handy?
Yeah.
I'll fill time until you look him up. Absolute tank of a human being.
Oh, jeez. All right, yeah. Okay, so what about him?
So he once said it best. So there was a while where all these fitness influencers were doing collab videos with Ronnie Coleman. Now, Ronnie Coleman is up there with, maybe didn't have the same movie career, but up there with the Arnold Schwarzeneggers of the weightlifting world.
All right.
He's a legend. legend,
Yeah.
known for being one of the greatest of all time. He's now probably in his 50s or 60s. And when you put on, like, when you're lifting that much, like his back barely works anymore, his knees barely work anymore.
Yeah.
He can still put up impressive numbers to all things considered, but
Mhm.
he's a legend of the game that is now old.
Yeah.
And there were these videos of these fitness influencers like dressing up like him to work out with him and putting like a fake mustache on him for lifts and be like, oh, look how silly this is.
Yeah.
And Sam Sulek did and it's not like a famous video he did, but I saw this clip and he goes, to me, that feels like watching children play on a war memorial. It just feels disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. Yeah.
That's how I feel about this Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight.
Mhm.
It would be like if I challenged Muhammad Ali when he had Parkinson's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be
Yeah.
like,
No, I totally get what you're saying.
there's obviously still the chance that Muhammad Ali beats me because I'm me. I'm not a fighter.
Mhm.
I'm doing the Bryce Hall, or is that him? I'm not a fighter. I've never claimed to be a fighter.
Yeah.
That was a good
Yeah.
impression. I'm not a
Yeah.
fighter. I've
That's
never
actually
claimed to
pretty
be a
good.
fighter. That's a perfect
But
impression. Should we
like,
run that back one more?
I get what I totally
Close
get
your
what
eyes.
you're saying.
Close your eyes. Tell me who you're listening to right now.
Okay.
I'm not a fighter. I've never claimed to be a fighter. Who's
All right.
that?
Okay, Bryce. So let me ask you this then.
Okay, should I answer as Bryce?
Yeah, might as
Okay.
well. You're already in character.
I'm not a fighter. I've never claimed to. What's up, Brandon?
The thing I'm just like, the thing is like, I mean, like obviously, Jake Paul's not an actual boxer. I mean, like you still have to give him credit for, obviously he does put in the work for it. Like he does work hard at it. I'm not knocking that. But like I don't know. I just feel like if there's a world or a scenario where, I mean, in my opinion, this probably just ends up being a hug fest or something, and it goes to a decision probably. But it's like if we're in a world where it's like Jake Paul wins, man, like that that's just gonna be his thing. Is like I beat Mike Tyson, but it's like, I mean, again,
You
no
didn't.
disrespect to Mike Tyson, but it's like he's not in his prime. He's not like if this was prime Mike Tyson, he would wipe the floor. So it's like, why is he going out of? He's going out of his way to challenge these big names, the best of the best who are now out of their prime to try and go and get a win. And then he can be like, oh, look, I've beaten one of the best. Like I'm now one of the best. And it's like,
and here's the other thing. No actual, like, this is why I say he's not a boxer. No actual boxer would ever challenge Mike Tyson.
yeah.
Like Canelo. One of the best fighters of our generation. Triple G, one of the best fighters of our generation, both smaller than Mike Tyson. They would never challenge Mike Tyson because they are the best. Vasily Lomachenko would never challenge Teofimo Lopez. I know he's fallen off a little bit, but like some of these great fighters of our time right now, Caleb Plant even, he's not challenging him. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. Like, can you imagine if Tyson Fury went, oh, like, I'm going to challenge Mike Tyson? He would get laughed out of the world because the thing is there's that respect piece. It would be like Connor Bedard saying, put me in a skating competition against Wayne Gretzky. I bet I can skate faster than Gretz. And no one would go, oh my God, he's challenging the great one. They'd go, what the fuck is this kid doing?
Yeah.
That's just stupid. Exactly. It makes you look amateur because no pro, like Bedard would never do that. McDavid would never do that because it wouldn't garner respect. They have respect for this guy. They wouldn't gain them respect. Do you know who would do that? A fucking fourth line, never going to go anywhere, AAA player or junior B player. You know what I mean? Like if I'm some hot dog junior B player that I know I'm capped out there, I'm gonna go, oh, I'll challenge Wayne Gretzky through a skating competition because I'm fucking woo. And that's not going to increase your draft capital. That would be like if a quarterback, that's like an XFL quarterback, not even XFL, some respect. Someone below an XFL quarterback being like, I can throw better than Terry Bradshaw. Now, like, okay, what is he, 70?
Tom Brady, if that's what he's going by at the time.
That's the thing. Brady could still sling it.
No,
Brady's
I'm talking
only
about
2 years removed.
when Terry Bradshaw went under the name
I saw that.
Tom Brady.
I saw that. That's cool. That's destiny. That's manifesting right there.
I wanted to talk about that. It's just kind of funny that's who you picked for it. So
yeah, well, he's in the conversation.
Totally
but you know what I mean? Like that's not gonna up your draft capital. And see, this is why I'll say he's not a boxer, and this is why I think you almost have to lean further towards he's a YouTuber, because that's not gonna garner any respect from boxing fans. I wouldn't even call myself a boxing fan. I enjoy the sport. I love the sport. But the 5 fighters I just listed are probably the only fighters in the modern era I could list. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. That's it.
Yeah.
Klitschko, Usyk. That's it. Like those are all the fighters. Anthony Ruiz. Like I can only name the big names. I wouldn't call myself a fan. I'm an admirer. I enjoy boxing, but to say, I'm a boxing fan, I'm more of a UFC fan. But that's beside. That would be like if an early prelim UFC fighter challenged Don Fry.
Yeah.
That's not, no one's going to look at that and go, oh, what a badass. They're going to go, what the fuck? So, here's a comparable example. When McGregor was real, well, he's still kind of in his coke days, but when he was really coked up, hadn't fought in 2 years before, I think it was even before the Cerrone comeback, or maybe just after when he was off for another year. And people were just kind of getting sick of him. He released some DMs where he was DMing Dana, and he's like, I want to fight Diego Sanchez.
Yeah.
Who won the Ultimate Fighter season 1 for his weight class. And was now like pushing 40, was with some scam artist of a coach, allegedly. I feel like that guy would sue. He don't know who we are. But Diego Sanchez had fallen off big time. Like he hadn't won in so long. His last win was from a disqualification. He got illegally kneed and was like, yeah, I can't fight anymore. And then went to the press conference and was like, yeah, that was tactical. That was my best chance to win. Like the guy was so washed and was almost depressing watching it fight. Like, and McGregor called him out being like, he's a legend of the game. I'm a legend. Legend should fight. And nobody respected that move. And Conor never brought it up again. It was never a storyline he tried to perpetuate. Now he just throws shit at the wall, hoping something sticks. And that's the way McGregor's been doing it recently.
Yeah.
But he was laughed out of the conversation for that. Because it was like, what?
Exactly.
And even McGregor, he was laughed because he is so much better than that. And everyone's like, what are you doing, you clown? Like, this is scary to see that you're willing to do this, because what does that say about you? What does that say about where you're at? So getting back to what I was saying, I wouldn't call myself even a boxing fan, but I still disrespect Jake for what he is, for what that decision is. So any boxing fan isn't going to look at that and go, oh man, what a move. They're going to go, that is depressing. That's sad, honestly. That's sad to see. I don't enjoy that. That's like watching children play on a war memorial. Thank you, Sam Sulik.
Like that's exactly it though. Like,
so it's just for the YouTube fans. It's just for the YouTube. No one that gives a shit about that sport is watching that. That is just, I'll still watch it. That is just
but
for
even
the
then,
YouTube.
Though, if it's for the YouTube fans, there's numerous other paths he could have took that would have done better. But for him, it's to at the end of the day, so he can say, "Hey, I beat Mike Tyson." If he does, that's what he's going towards. Is he's trying to be like, "Hey, you know what? I beat Mike Tyson. All you other guys that I'm continually dodging and not fighting, you haven't beat Mike Tyson, so you're not on the same level as me." And that's just the circle that we keep seeing in YouTube boxing. It's certain guys refuse to fight other ones, and then they go on and challenge these guys, and then they're like, well, you know what, maybe you got to step up and go through Mike Tyson like I did to show that you're worthy of me. And that's That's the endless cycle that it's.
Want to know what's funny, Brandon?
Hmm.
That is
Well, there's
very
lots of funny
indicative
ones,
of boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's famous in boxing is the guys that everyone wants to see fight don't fight each other. That's why, and a lot of people have said this is not an original thought for me. That's why the UFC became what the UFC is. One of the big reasons. Now Dana will say it's because, you're fans of the prelims as well. Like they build personalities far better than boxing. The boxing model, as Dana has said multiple times, is a going out of business sale. They put all money into one event, pay their fighters $300 million, $100 million, $75 million, and then you'll never hear from any name below that main event. Whereas UFC, it's a fully built card.
Yeah.
But I think the big reason UFC became what the UFC is today, and sure, there's still cash grab fights, and sure, there's still fights people don't necessarily want to see, or there's a little bit of ducking that goes on here, a little bit of ducking that goes on there, but nothing near boxing, because what boxing was 4 or 5 different promoters. So the Brandon Corbiel promotion, you have a fighter, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say we'll use YouTube names for simplicity's sake, but you are the Brandon Corbiel promotion company, and you represent Jake Paul.
Ew. Okay.
I'm the Will Collison promotion company, and I represent KSI.
Okay.
When KSI fights, I'm making money. When Jake Paul fights, you're making money. Now, what the fans want to see is KSI and Jake Paul fight.
Yeah.
We split the money, but what's going to happen is whoever loses, let's say Jake Paul loses. Well, now your fight promotion company just lost its golden boy.
Yeah, took a big
You maybe
hit.
get him for one more fight. Maybe you book him on his big comeback, and that's why in boxing there's such a big thing in the rematch clause. Is these promoters go in the fighters, but these promoters go, listen, if we're gonna risk our biggest guy, we're making that risk at least twice.
Yeah.
We want a built-in rematch clause so that if you beat us and we potentially lose our cash cow, we are going to go one final effort to either get our cash cow back, and now we get to do a trilogy, and oh my god, those trilogies sell huge, or
it's we go down swinging type of
we
thing.
go down swinging, and that's funny that's it's now happening to YouTube boxing, the slow, stupid little brother, little cousin, adopted weasel of boxing is. You're seeing the same issue that plagued real boxing is now plaguing this fucking ticky-tack kids game Mickey Mouse bullshit. And I think that's
100%.
hilarious that they're kind of suffering the same fate. It's how we see, now all these streaming services offer different channels within the streaming service. And you're like, oh, so we reinvented cable. We reinvented cable. YouTube boxing is not different. It's kind of, we're going to do the same thing. And we're not going to do it any different. And we're going to fall victim to the same trap. So it's funny. And that's why the UFC, I think, has always been the most successful. Now there's different promotions, obviously, and we're going to see it. But the UFC has contained themselves as a league. Now, if you're a boxing fan, there are multiple different, like if I'm a boxing fan, I could name off my 10 favorite boxers. Probably the only 10 I know. There's a chance that I'm going to name boxers over 3 different promotions. That's why there's 4 different belts in boxing. For the same weight class. There's 4 belts. There's 4, Brandon, 4. In the UFC now, if you're a big MMA fan, maybe you follow PFL and one championship, but one's kind of doing their own thing. PFL's doing the tournaments. They're doing their own thing. But you can be an MMA fan and just an exclusively UFC fan. That's what I would call myself. I appreciate PFL. If I see highlights, I'll watch it. I appreciate one championship, probably more than PFL, because I think what they're doing is really interesting. But I haven't taken the time to sit down and watch the fights and learn their rosters and learn who the up-and-comers are and figure that out. But what has been so successful with the UFC is they have one promotion. It is more like a league than it is prize fighting championships, where Much like the NFL, you're never going to get the NFC champ and the AFC champ not willing to play against each other.
Yeah.
The two champs will play, or the two contenders will play. In the UFC, the two contenders will fight. And that is what is plaguing YouTube boxing now, as much as I don't even want to consider them as a reality, is with Jake Paul going off to do this bullshit Mike Tyson fight. If you want the cash now, if you want the fans' interest now, if you want to build this now, you do the Jake Paul KSI fight. You do that fight. That's the fight to make. That has always been the fight to make. You don't do Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. And I can't believe we are even dedicating this much of a fucking episode to these clowns and this clown shit show bullshit. It's a joke. Anyways, do you want to talk about the UFC?
I'm 100% with you. It is. It's an absolute joke. And I don't think
Did you like my analogies?
True, but I did. Yeah, let's hop over into some UFC now.
You set us up.
The fights we really care about. I mean, well, UFC 299 this weekend. Just a stacked card. Like,
do you want me to set us up?
Oh yeah.
All right, folks. UFC is going down to the 305. That's right, baby. We are going to Miami for UFC 299. And this card is stacked, dare I say, could rival that of UFC 300. And I know this is blasphemy. I know I shouldn't be saying it. I know I shouldn't be even speaking these words, because UFC 300 is stacked. It's awesome. And if anyone's hating on it, go sit down in a corner. I will bring you a coloring book, because both of those fights are bangers. But that is a month away. What we have this weekend is UFC 299, folks. Even going back to the early prelims, do we have bangers of fights?
Yeah.
Okay, we have Joanne Wood. I would consider her an always contender, always puts on very amazing fights, from Scotland. She is getting up there in age, or Joanne Calderwood, as I think her full name is. Taking on Myrna Moros, a lot younger of a fighter. Well, not a lot. Joanne's, I think, 38. Myra is 32. Joanne is a lot more of a UFC vet, having 8 more fights in 8 more professional bouts than Morris. Both have had up and down records, but that's the first fight. Joanne, if I'm not mistaken, in the past has either co-mained or headlined a fight night. That's what we're getting up about. She is coming off a decision win in 2023 in UFC 286. So hasn't fought in a while. Lost to Alexa Grasso in a fight night. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe she didn't headline one. But she was a big name. She lost to Lauren Murphy, beat Jessica I think back in 2020 or 2021, was on a bit of a run for the belt, and then had losses to Jennifer Maia, Caitlin Chukagian in 2019, and Lauren Murphy in 2021. So kind of went on a bit of an up and down slide. Hasn't been able to really string a lot of wins together, but she is game, will always come out. Former Muay Thai champion, so definitely has the hands to make this an exciting fight. And folks, that is your first fight of the night. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? And I'm going to read out.
We're in for a treat.
Some other names. Treat. So CJ Vergara is taking on Asu Almaybayev in the flyweight division. Now, the flyweight division is one of those smaller divisions that I would say any exciting fight can boost a guy quickly. But here's what I'm really excited for. Two big ones, okay?
All right.
I'm going to say this name, and I want you to remember, this is on the early prelims. Robelis Despagne.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
I don't know.
His nickname is the Bad Boy. Do you want to make some guesses about him?
He's undefeated.
4-0.
Yeah, I already knew
Taking
that.
on Josh Parisian, a vet. This is his UFC debut.
Mhm.
I would like you to guess what his last 3 fights
Oh,
were. How did his last 3 fights end? Now
I'm
again,
guessing,
keep in mind this is before the UFC.
I'm guessing like knockouts in the first 10 seconds or something.
Close. So TKOs in all 3. So the first of his oldest of his last 3 fights. Guess what the time was?
12 seconds.
Are you looking this up?
No, I'm actually just, I don't have
12.
time to look that up
Spot
quick.
on.
Oh,
Spot on.
there we go. See, I'm just sick at this.
His
This is a
second
fun
fight.
game.
His second most recent fight. How long?
13 seconds.
Lower.
Oh shit, 8 seconds. No,
Lower.
9. Oh, 6?
Lower.
5.
Lower.
Do I go 4? Do I just jump to 3? I'm gonna go with 3.
3 seconds.
Wow.
His most recent fight. How long?
6 seconds.
Lower.
3 seconds.
Okay, up by 1. 4 seconds.
4. Wow.
So his last 3 fights have had a total fight time of 19 seconds.
But he doesn't have a scratch on him.
He is 6'7". I believe has a wingspan reach of 87 inches.
Yeah, I'm pulling up. His reach is 213.4 centimeters. That's
That's
nuts.
crazy. That's crazy. So 87 inches. So think about this. So his height is 2 meters.
Yeah.
His wingspan is 2/3 of a foot because a foot is about 30 centimeters, give or take.
Yeah.
His wingspan is 21 centimeters more than his height.
Jeez.
He is a Cuban Taekwondo practitioner. And I
Jeez.
believe
Wouldn't want to be Josh right now.
he won gold
Oh, jeez.
in the Central American Caribbean Games.
So what
in
you're saying is we should
2014.
be expecting him to just come out and put on an absolute clinic for 10 seconds. Most
Maybe
likely.
5 seconds.
Maybe 5.
I want to open up what our bookie. What does our bookie tell us?
That's
I want to see the line on this. But that is on the early prelims, folks. This is, I would say, a Bo Nickel level prospect. I don't remember there being a prospect in the heavyweight division this much since Tom Aspinall, who currently holds the interim belt. Think about that for a second.
He's not
When
even
was
the
the last
biggest
time we had a
favorite.
prospect like this? Pardon?
He's not even the biggest favorite on the early
Who's the
prelims.
biggest favorite?
The name you butchered, the Asu Almabayev or whatever.
No, okay, yeah, whatever.
But so second biggest favorite on the.
Where are you? Where's
Prelim.
okay? Well, money line.
So
Okay,
I mean,
a minus.
Don't knock him. He's still a pretty big favorite.
Oh, dude, minus 334. That is free money right there. I thought he'd be like a minus 700. Now, Josh Parisian, no joke at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're building a PGO parlay, that is where I'm starting it, folks.
That's the foundation.
That is the first one I'm going for. Now, also in the early prelims, we have Michelle Pereira taking on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk.
Yeah, you nailed that.
Yeah, I think that was exactly how you pronounce it. If you don't know who Michelle Pereira is, you're not missing out on much. He is a showman. He's a very talented fighter. He's a showman. Famously, for me, came in heavy against Wonderboy and ruined what would have been an awesome fight. He is I think he's now moved up to middleweight, has a lot of wins, has a lot of losses, kind of floats around. I think and this isn't to diss him, my bad. But I think he could be looking at a similar fate to that of Kevin Holland.
Okay, all right.
Where he's exciting to watch. People will tune in, but
Yeah.
He's not going for the belt.
Yeah, exactly. Just there to put on a show for the people.
Felipe Lins is taking on Ion Cutelaba. Cutelaba in the light heavyweight division.
Light
30 years
heavyweight.
old, absolute tank of a human. Famously, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, beat Johnny Walker in quite an impressive fashion. No, lost to Johnny Walker. Whoops. My bad.
Man, you're really on top of your game here.
Okay, shut up. Shut
You're
up.
dialed in.
Shut up.
Wish I
Shut
could be
up.
on the same level you're on.
Shut up. Shut up. I hate you so much. Okay,
No, you're
fine. He's
killing
lost a lot. Do you want me to quit the show? I'll quit right now.
You can't, because we've got some more fights to talk about.
But
Because
we got
this
some
is
more
still
fights.
only the early prelims.
We are still in the early prelims. So going on to the preliminary card, and folks, these are still the prelims. Starting off the preliminary card, Kyler Phillips taking on Pedro Munoz.
Oh, dude, I'm going with a guy named Kyler all day.
Fair enough. Kyler's 11-2.
Is he
Pedro
the
Munoz
favorite?
is
Okay, he is -220 favorite.
yeah, he is a favorite. I'll take Kyler with you. Pedro Munoz has been in the division a very long time. Very well respected bantamweight. Always brings the fire, brings the heat.
You
I
heard
think
it
this
here
will be
first. Will is back in Kyler. We knew it was going to happen eventually. I knew I'd get him there.
Shut up.
You're a big Kyler fanboy, aren't you?
Huge, biggest Kyler fanboy to ever live. Okay,
Yeah.
then we have Matiz Gamrot taking on Rafael Dos Anjos. Gamrot, massive prospect coming up in the lightweight division. Dos Anjos is a former lightweight champ. Although he's stayed competitive, he has lost his last few, but he has stayed incredibly competitive within that division. I believe jumped up to welterweight briefly and then went back to lightweight. Had a war with, I want to say, Paul Felder, if I'm not mistaken. But Dos Anjos is just a terrific fighter. Always brings a really entertaining fight. Gamrot, I think that's where my money's going on. I think he should be able to make good work of him. That being said, that is a fight you do not want to miss. Speaking of fights you don't want to miss, Brandon.
Preliminary card.
Dude, I'm telling you. Brandon.
Caitlin Chuchagian's winning. I'm not even kidding. I honestly, I think she does win.
Really?
I actually do think so.
Oh, come on, man.
I actually do think so. Like,
Guess
like
who's the
if we're
favorite?
being realistic,
Guess who's the favorite?
I'm assuming Macy Barber, but every time I've gone with Caitlin Chuchagian as the underdog, she's always come out on top for me. So I see no reason to. And the thing is, like, how much has Macy Barber fought lately? Like, she's been like gone for so long.
To be fair,
it feels like
Chuchagian hasn't fought since 2022.
2022. Dang, it's been that long since she's fought.
She's had a year off. Macy Barber beat Amanda Ribas, broke my heart, in 2023. And
Damn, it actually has been 2022. Dang.
Andrea Lee in 2023. She beat Jessica I in 2022 and Montana de la Rosa in 2022. So she's on what, a 4-fight win streak?
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, lost. No, 5-fight win streak. Beat Miranda Maverick in July of 2021 and then lost to Alexa Grasso in February of 2021.
That wasn't that the one where she like blew out her knee or something?
No, that was right before Roxanne
Roxanne.
Modafferi.
Oh, okay.
So we've been following Macy Barber.
Maybe she does win then.
I think she does personally, and I'll kind of give the two reasons. Now, breaks my heart that she beat Amanda Ribas. Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart. You never like to see that kind of thing.
I just want to go back. So you're a big Kyler fanboy. I just want to hear you say it one more time.
He's the greatest quarterback to ever play the sport of football.
Man.
Yeah, it gets you a little hard there.
That's awesome.
Did that get you hard?
That's awesome.
Did that get you?
I'm so glad to hear that.
Okay, so here's something you want to take into account. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Chukagian is 35. Macy Barber is 25.
All right, yeah.
Her last fight was in 2022, where she beat Manon Fioret. Amanda Hebas and Jennifer Maia. Jennifer Maia, that's a big win. And won again in 2021. And had an up and down 2020 with 2 wins and a loss. So she's
You
won
look
more
at
than she's...
all of her. I'm going back. I'm already on 2019, 2018. Any fight that she wins, it's a decision win.
Now,
Like I've gone all
similar
the way
with
back
Macy
to
Barber.
2018. 2017. Yeah, like
Similar,
going all the way back to 2016. She either loses most of them in decision or she wins in decision. Like it's so. I
here's
guess that's
something to take into account. Macy Barber's last win against Amanda Hebas was a TKO in the second round.
Mhm.
So you also want to think about thing like Volkanovski, the 35 curse. Once fighters hit 35, typically, unless you're Glover Teixeira, starts to go a little downhill.
Yeah. Yeah, you sold me now. Looking back at all that, yeah, Macy Barber's probably taking it. I probably honestly won't even go to decision.
Okay, and then the main prelim fight is Curtis Blades taking on Yelton Almeida. Again, 2 huge heavyweights. I think this is an amazing contender fight. I don't think it's a title contender fight, but I think this is... Blades got to be at least in the top 10. I think Almeida is, I want to say, ranked in the top 5. His last fight was a win against Derek Lewis before Derek Lewis had abs.
Beast with abs, man.
And then he beat Jairzinho Rosenstruck. And like those are 2 big names, 2 knockout artists. Now Curtis Blades is a wrestler, but I think my money would be on Almeida for this fight. That being said, I think it's going to be a very close one. Now, should we get onto the main card? Because we're holding this a little long.
The big main card. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
So I just want to point out that like we've talked about this many fights, we haven't even touched the main card yet.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's nothing noteworthy. Should we move on to NHL?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, all right. Let's move on. We got some clown news. I'm kidding. Folks, we got Piotr Jan taking on Song Yadong. We got Gilbert Burns taking on Jack Della Maddalena. We got Kevin Holland taking on Michael Venom Page. We got Dustin Poirier taking on Benoit Saint Denis. And we got Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Marlon Cheeto Vera. Now, let's talk about some storylines going into this. So Piotr Jan, obviously coming off some losses in that bantamweight division, was a former champ in that division.
Didn't even really
baddest
lose
dude.
his belt.
Fair. Well, in the rematch, he lost.
I guess in the rematch, yeah.
Song Yadong, another great fighter in the division. I would label him more of a prospect, but I think he is getting up there a little bit. This is just going to be, I think, a very electric fight. I think we're going to see a lot of hands getting thrown. I think there's obviously the ability it gets taken to the ground, but I don't see it. I think maybe there's a few little... I think there's going to be a lot of clinch work. So if that goes down to the ground, then I think for sure it will stay there because both have the ability to fight on the ground. But
yeah,
I think with Piotr Jan's Muay Thai abilities, I think it is likely to stay in the clinch or stay on the feet. But it wouldn't be surprised if there is some impressive clinch work. And if Song Yadong does try and get it to the ground later in the fight. Gilbert Burns taking on Jack Della Maddalena. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, I'm not going to try.
Huge welterweight fight. Gilbert Burns, I don't think his last fight was a loss to Bilal Muhammad. But he then beat George Masvidal, beat Neil Magny in 2023, lost to Chimaev in 2022, beat Wonderboy Thompson, and lost to Kamaru Usman. So
Gilbert Burns is coming in as the slight underdog here, plus 130.
So he does have 6 losses. He is 37. Yeah. Again, this is an age game. This becomes an age game. He is 37. Yeah. Jack Della Maddalena is 27. He has been in the promotion for a lot less time, but he has not danced around too much with that. Picking up 3 wins, all by TKO KO in 2022. Picking up a decision win against Kevin Holland and a decision win against Basil
You got it.
Chavez.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how it is. I'm just hyping you up so you feel better.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, King. Taking on 2 decision wins in 2023. This will be his first fight of 2024. To label him a prospect, I would say, is incredibly accurate.
Yeah.
I feel like my money would be on Jack Della Maddalena. I just love saying that name. Yeah, I think my money's on him. Again, I think this becomes an age thing. He is the younger fighter by 10 years.
Well,
Now,
and that is something that, again, that really, that's a big thing. Like that does matter, you know. I mean, you can look at it from the side of the, you know, the experienced part versus the unexperienced. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, like if it's same guys in the same weight class and you got a younger, faster, I mean, yeah, especially 10 years, like that's, you know, in the UFC, that's huge. Like, so
yeah,
yeah,
and
and I
again,
like Gilbert Burns, but at the same time, you'd also kind of have to, you know, when you're viewing this, you do have to kind of put those logistics in and be like, you know, how real, like, and I mean, obviously, with the UFC, that's the great part about it is anything can happen in a split second and change the outcome. But when you kind of look at it, it's like, yeah, it's, you know, I think we're starting to kind of see the I don't want to say the
slow decline.
downfall, but kind of just, yeah, the slow decline of Gilbert Burns. As much as I do like him, it's, you know,
Fair.
eventually you do need to at least realize when, yeah, they're on that kind of downslide, and it's, you know, it's not going to magically improve and get better, and he goes on, you know, a 5 or 6 fight win streak. Like I think we're kind of at that point where it's just not happening anymore. So
I agree. Now, this is going to be a really interesting. The next fight is Kevin Holland taking on Michael Venom Page.
yeah.
So, do you know who Michael Page is?
Not really. I know he's actually the underdog. I thought he might have been the favorite for
So,
this, but
you
yes,
may
underdog.
know him from his highlights more than his fights. He is, I would put him up there with Kevin Holland, an incredibly flashy kickboxer. I believe I heard he has a like a karate point fighting background, so he has that blitz speed, much like a Wonder Boy.
Okay.
In this fight, he's taking on Kevin Holland. Now, Michael Page just got signed to the UFC. He was in Bellator. That is kind of why this story is big. He is coming over a former Bellator fighter. He is coming from there into the UFC, not a UFC vet, not a UFC prospect. He is coming in at the age of 36, taking on the 31-year-old. Is he past his prime? I don't personally think so. And I don't want to use a comparison because obviously the comparison is very different and the matchup is very different. This is a perfect matchup.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is flashy striker versus flashy striker. This is exactly what the fans wanted to see. And I feel, you know, unless he goes on a huge run, then obviously we'll want to see him against everyone. But you could make an argument, other than Steven Wonderboy, there's no one else to bring Michael Page in against other than Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
The fights I want to see him in is Kevin Holland and Stephen Thompson. Those are the fights. And I wouldn't be shocked if he beats Kevin Holland, especially in an impressive fashion. I would assume his next fight is against Wonderboy. Like, though, I'll call it now. I'll put money on it now. If he wins that fight, he's taking on Wonderboy because those are matchup fights right there.
Yeah.
Now, he is a little older, coming from Bellator. Kevin Holland has 8 more losses on his record than Michael Page.
And
he's not super young. I wouldn't put him in this young prospect category anymore. I'd more put him in that show fighter, that Donald Cerrone, that badass.
He's not like an established veteran yet either, though.
Yeah.
He's right
so I think this is going to be an amazing fight. I think this could very well be a toss-up. We don't know what I feel like we know what version of Holland is going to show up. I don't know if we actually know, as UFC fans especially, if we know 100% what Michael Venom Page we will be getting for this fight.
Mhm.
So I'm
Do
so
you
excited to
think we're
see that
looking at fight of the night here between these two?
easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
If
All
not
right.
fight of the night, just a performance bonus, I think like a knockout of the night.
Okay. All right. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Speaking of fight of the night, Dustin Poirier taking on Benoit Saint Denis. Now, this is the co-main event. Here's a little thing for you, Brandon. It's a 5-rounder.
Really?
It is a non-title, non-headlining 5-round fight.
Ooh.
What does
Even
that
better.
tell you?
It's gonna
So,
bang.
Benoit Saint Denis.
Potentially, I don't know. I've just seen lots of talk about it, but people are saying potentially could be Dustin Poirier's final fight. I don't know because I don't really know shit, but that I've seen a lot of people starting to say that that's what it could sound like.
It could be.
I don't know.
It could be. I don't think it is. It could be. And I'll tell you why it could be. Dustin Poirier is, I believe, 35. We're talking about this a lot. It's been coming
He
up
is
a lot since
35.
that Volk loss.
Mm-hmm.
He's 35. That's the age a lot of fighters, especially in those lighter weight classes, start to struggle.
Yeah.
Benoit Saint Denis is 28. He is
Yeah.
young. He is hungry. Do you know his background?
No, but I know he's hungry.
French Special Forces.
Ooh.
This dude is a legitimate killer.
Jeez.
This dude has blood behind his eyes. He has seen some shit, dude.
It's also worth noting he's 13-1. So
Yeah.
like yeah.
He's a prospect,
For
no doubt.
five rounds, that's huge. That's
And-
huge.
And I think, and I hope I'm right on this. I'm almost positive. It's a 5-round co-main. I'll be willing to bet a little pretty pennies on that thing. Want to know the worst part? I'm hosting a show this Saturday.
Oh no. Oh, that's
I'm gonna miss it.
better pull it up on your phone.
Dude, I might. Dude, I gotta meet.
Fuck.
You know what else I got to do on
keep you
Saturday?
updated. I'll keep you updated.
You know what else I got to do on Saturday?
Yeah, I do. I'll keep you updated.
Do I have my phone on watching the fights during?
Do it. Just get some Bluetooth headphones, pop them in so you can at least listen. Actually,
Listen,
I don't know if
I
there's a big
hear you.
knockout
Those
at the
feelings
time,
are
might not
valid.
be.
Whoa!
Yeah.
1 sec. There was a knockout.
Yeah, might not be the best. But I
Just
mean,
got
like,
one eye just peeking over. Just give
the
me my
fact
hoodie back.
the fact that this is like the fact that this is
Do I
the co-main event
reschedule?
and we're getting five. No,
I think I reschedule.
no. Well, yeah, actually, you might have to. I don't know. But like, man, like, and I mean, obviously, you know, you're way more knowledgeable of a lot of
So-
these names and stuff. But the fact that like I can kind of look up and down this card and I actually kind of like recognize, you know, I'd say probably 85% of the names, like shows that you know, like this is just a stacked card.
This
we haven't
card is
gotten to
just
the main
hitter
event.
after hitter. And then the main event, Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Marlon Cheeto Vera. Vera has been in the UFC a lot longer than O'Malley. O'Malley, fight-wise at least, O'Malley only has 1 loss on his record, which the Sugar State Commission overturned as a no contest.
Yeah.
Was against Marlon Vera. That is when he got leg kick shot off his peroneal nerve, got taken down and ground and pounded a little bit to end the fight. Marlon Vera did drop in the rankings. So this is one of those fights. I think it's better than some are giving it credit for. That being said, if Sean wasn't the champ, Cheeto wouldn't have the title shot. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
He's coming off a win and a loss. He did have, I think 3-4 wins before that. Yeah, 4 wins prior, but had a 1 win, 2 loss 2020, a 2 win 2021, a 2 win 2022, lost his first fight of 2023 against Corey Sandhagen, and then came back to win against I want to say actually Pedro Munoz. Yeah, Pedro Munoz in 2023. So if Sean's not the champ. I don't think Cheeto's in this position. That being said, Sean is the champ. That being said, these are those fights that you end up getting a champ that maybe you don't expect, right? I feel, obviously they hate each other. Obviously there's a lot of animosity, I feel, between those two. They just don't like each other, but I feel it's one of those fights where I would almost say Cheeto's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I think he's enough of a name that as long as he puts on a good showing, he goes back into the rankings if he loses, gets 3 or 4 wins, and he's back in title contention. I think Sean O'Malley, he's staked a lot of his fame, a lot of his reputation. Part of his allure, part of his draw is that he claims he's never lost a fight, even though he has. Like it's this thing of him going, yeah, that doesn't count. I'm undefeated, which I think makes some fans laugh, giggle, and cheer, and others get all mad. And either way, they buy the pay-per-views. So much has been staked on this. Sean did call him out because there was that story, and I think because that was almost like a score to settle. So what's my official prediction? O'Malley round 2 knockout.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could totally see that. I mean that's like I'm obviously that's the way I mean I don't know what the the actual result is going to be, but that's who
decision win.
Going with. Like that's the corner I'm back in. So,
but I do think O'Malley does have the speed to piece him up. I think he has the footwork to stay on the feet. I do think he does have underrated grappling. I think people think he knows nothing about grappling. He's no star. I don't think he would fare as well against like a Merab Dvalishvili, but to say he's some slouch, I would have to fight you on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's build a bit of a parlizzle, okay? Why don't we?
Yeah.
So I want Robelis Despagne.
Okay.
Despagne.
That's kind of the big new
Cuban motherfucker
who just is on a tear right now.
Yeah, one of the best prospects we got going.
Justice.
I want to skip the Michel Pereira fight. I don't trust the guy to bet on him.
I don't know anything really about that fight.
I'll skip Ion Cutelaba. I think we gotta ride with Kyler Phillips.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
because he's your boy.
Just say we're riding with Kyler. Just say Kyler. That's all.
I gotta ride with Gamrot because I think he has that youth.
Okay.
We gotta ride with Macy Barber because she's your girl.
Yeah.
Blades and Almeida, that's even money.
Even.
I'm staying well away from that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I want to take Petr Yan.
Okay.
But he has lost his last 2.
That is, yeah.
I know he's not young. I don't think he's old yet, but some of that shine could be wearing off.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay to just
stay away from it.
Stay away from it and just enjoy it for what it is.
Jack Della Maddalena, I would take him over Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
But if you're unsure, we can skip that one.
No. The thing is like that's like I'm okay with that. It's just one of those things that always sucks, when you go against the guy that you've kind of always rooted for. But like,
all right, then let's not do it. Let's not do it. Let's skip it. No, because I'm with you. I love Gilbert Burns. He's fun. Right. He's awesome.
Right. I'm fine staying away from it because
here's where we're gonna get into
I will be cheering for
issues.
Gilbert Burns. So
Kevin Holland MVP. I think we got to stay away from that. I just think there's so many questions we don't even know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
there's so many
like
questions.
That, it's
so tough to say. Now here is where we get into the weeds. Obviously, we're taking Sean O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Brandon,
I know what you're gonna say. You don't have to sell me on it. Just say it. Just say it with chest, and I'm in.
Dustin, the diamond.
There we go.
Fourier.
There we go.
Lafayette, Louisiana's back.
Now, here's what I'm gonna say. Crazy. And what kind of parlay would this be from? The PGO show if we didn't have at least one underdog. Like that's what we live for.
But here's the thing. Let me sell you on it, Brandon, because I think I can sell a fight. And this fight doesn't need no sales pitch, because if you're not tuning into this one, you are brain dead, sir. If you're not tuning in this one, you might as well pull out your credit card and pre-order Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, because that's the kind of fight fan you are if you aren't tuning into this one, folks. Okay? Let me tell you right now, Dustin Poirier, yeah, maybe he's getting up there in age, and yeah, maybe he just got head kick KO'd by Justin, the highlight Gaethje, but have you all forgotten what the run he was on before this? Sure, he's been choked out by Charles Oliveira. Sure, he's been choked out by Khabib Nurmagomedov, but who hasn't been choked out by Khabib Nurmagomedov? Who hasn't been choked out by Charles Dubronx Oliveira? Now, I think some of you might have forgotten when there was a young, spry, up-and-coming prospect that everyone thought he was the next big thing, and his name was Dan Hooker. And he got on the mic one day and he said, Dustin Poirier, I'm going to smash your face in. That wasn't a good Australian accent. And do you know what Dustin the Diamond did to him? He smashed his face in. Poirier is game. Poirier is a dog. Poirier has experience out the wazoo. He lost his fight in 2023. That was back in July. He has plenty of time off. Before that, he submitted Michael Chandler. Before that, he beat Conor McGregor not once, but twice. Before that, he beat up on old Danny Hooker. He beat Max Holloway, the best boxer in the UFC. He's beat Eddie Alvarez. He's beat Justin Gaethje in the past. He's beat Anthony Pettis. He's beat Jim Miller. He's beat Bobby Green. Name a fighter, he has beat him. This guy has been in the UFC for ages, for over a decade.
Like his last fight,
he is coming up on his 30th professional fight. I think this dog has still got a little bit of bite in him. I think he has the ability to go out there and put on one final showing. Sure, Benoit Saint Denis may have knocked out Matt Frevola. Sure, he may have knocked out Thiago Moises. Sure, he may have knocked out Gabriel Miranda. Sure, he may have knocked out Nicholas Stoles or submitted Nicholas Stoles. But he lost to Lizu Zagleski dos Santos in 2021 by a decision. Okay, you can say he's learned a lot, but to fight the Diamond, the
hot sauce king,
buddy. I have tried that hot sauce. I tried their KO edition, and you know what? I was on the toilet for a month, buddy. I don't see Dustin Poirier backing down to this fight. I think it's going to be bloody. I think it's going to be the fight of the night. Put my money on it now. This is the fight of the night.
This is why it's getting 5 rounds
of the 5-round war. One hand is getting raised, and that hand is the hand of Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
You think it goes 5 rounds? Wow.
I think it does. Did you like that little hype?
I did.
Yeah? Did that get you going? Did that get you excited for it?
Yeah.
You put
and then obviously undisclosed amount as of right now. But yeah, it's already in play.
How much? How much do you put?
Undisclosed amount. We'll reconvene.
Text it to me. Text it to me right now. Text me the number. I won't say it. I promise I won't say it.
We'll reconvene.
Okay. Text me. Robelis Despanier, Kyler, Maurice Gamrot, Macy Barber, Sean O'Malley, and Dustin Poirier.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. You know what? I mean that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of us doing this, because you obviously have that, that UFC knowledge that I don't have. I recognize a lot of the names on the card, but I don't know, a lot of their history, or at least to the extent you do. I don't know about some of the storylines coming in. So this is what helps build it. Dude, Blue does look sick.
Blue does look sick. Should
But
we get into a little bit of and this episode's going long, so should we get into a little bit of trade deadline action? I got a feel-good story for you, and I think I got a question for you. But I want to hear your take on what we are going through right now with the trade deadline. It is heating up in the National Hockey League. People are getting shuffled around like a deck of cards, baby, and I want to hear all about it.
It's been huge. Obviously, the day that we're recording this, the trade deadline isn't until tomorrow. I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern time. which is when we're still going to see a large amount of trades take place then. But like still, even the the last couple of days and today, the lead up has been like just huge. I'm assuming all the people at TSN and Sportsnet and et cetera are probably just fuming right now because the day of the trade deadline, when they get to do their big, long 6, 7, 8 hour show and whatnot, all the top names on the board are gone. They've already all been moved. We've seen, obviously the Calgary Flames have shipped off all of their big pieces. Well ago now, they've already moved Elias Lindholm. A couple weeks ago, they moved Chris Tanev. They've now just moved Noah Hannafin to Vegas. And then they're not. It sounds like, at least as of right now, they're not trading their goalie Jacob Markstrom, which I think is a crazy mistake that he hasn't already been moved, because I think now that they've moved out all the pieces they've moved out, they're open to trading him. But they waited so long that the market for him has gone down. They wanted to be where they were, a month ago, when they had multiple teams throwing in offers and they were just driving the price up, and they said, no, we're gonna stay where we're at. And now there's only one team interested. So they're in a position now where his value is never New Jersey, which was the main team like a month ago that was in on him. And that's the problem they're in now is Jacob Markstrom's value is never going to be higher than it is right now. And they're going to miss out on that because they decided to wait and be like, oh, well, we think we can still make the playoffs. And it's like, no, because we know in a month's time, like the time we're in now, you're moving out all these big players that are a big part of the team. So I like the returns because I'm assuming we got a lot of Flames fans that listen. I like
Flames fan.
For the most part. I like the return that they got back for the players that they have moved out. The Noah Hannafin trade, you can make the argument that they didn't get back as much as they should. Again, I'm still a big believer of when you're getting, I don't want to call him a prospect, the guy they got back, Miramanov, because he is 26 now, but he's new to North America. He's played a lot over in the KHL and whatnot, and from the small glimpses we've seen in North America, he has looked really good. And then when you're talking about draft picks, I mean, you can't say, oh, we lost the trade, because you don't know what those draft picks could become. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, some of the best, players in the league right now, because assuming that draft pick is probably going to be in the, 24 to 32 range, end of the first round, some of the best players in the league right now, we're taken in that spot. So the fact that the Flames now know, hey, we've got these draft picks, they can do their extra due diligence to focus on those players that are going to be in those sections, those, late first round picks, those mid second round picks. So like they're in a good spot right now. They just got to kind of keep working towards, those different draft picks that they have. But I mean, aside from that, I do think they should move Markstrom. They obviously haven't, but again, maybe we'll see. Maybe it'll be a draft day deal that they make, and maybe they do end up adding another first round pick or something from somebody. But then, I mean, I've been on Twitter for the last 5 years. No, I've been on it now for like the last 2 hours, constantly just kind of refreshing, because we now know the news that the biggest name at the trade deadline, Pittsburgh Penguins forward Jake Gensel, has been traded. We know he's been traded to the Carolina Hurricanes, but we don't know what that return is going to be. And for a player, that's in his current prime, he's one of the best playoff performers. I would say he's probably a top 20 goal scorer in the league. Being traded in his prime, we don't know what that return is going to look like. And Carolina's got a lot of interesting pieces that could be a part of it. So again, we're still just kind of waiting around and to see what that return could be. So I mean, that's kind of the big news of it. Again, it's hard to say as a whole, because we still know that tomorrow is kind of the day where there's still going to be a lot of moves being made. But like early winners right now is obviously the Colorado Avalanche. They've made some huge moves. Not only have they greatly improved their second line center position, they've greatly improved their defense, specifically on the right hand side, and then their center depth is incredible. What else do we got here? Oilers making some minor moves. Just kind of depth additions, because obviously they've already got their big studs up front. They didn't need to add anything in there, so it's just about rounding out the rest of the team. I don't love the moves they made. I don't hate them. In my opinion, I always think it's very funny when you see these specific teams at the deadline, like they go out and make moves, and then you see the other team make moves, but you know that it's coming to a head in the first round of the playoffs. Specifically, kind of talking about teams like, you could take any of the teams out of Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado, because two of those three teams are playing in round one, and then Edmonton and Vegas, both making lots of moves, and we know that they're going to be playing in round one. So it's basically each team is just trying to up the other one for that inevitable battle that we're going to get. But again, like those are kind of the big ones, and all we kind of know right now is that, like, the way it's looking, man, the first round of the playoffs this year is going to be wild. And then even the second round and the third round, because all of these teams are all beefing up. It is definitely a big seller's market for a lot of the teams at the bottom of the league, and all these teams at the top are just continuing to improve and get better. So we are going to have some heavyweight matchups taking place.
I can't wait. I think it's going to be awesome. Speaking of heavyweight matchups, we got a new heavyweight in the game. Let's talk a little Matt Rempe.
Oh, well, there we go. Damn.
What?
I knew it was coming, but I just
What?
So obviously, like, a trade just happened now. It was obviously kind of gonna happen eventually. I mean, it's not a big deal, but like the San Jose Sharks traded forward Anthony Duclair to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Don't know what the return is yet on it. But I mean, that sucks especially when you're a rebuilding team like the Sharks are, and you have, a pretty good player who actually, wants to be there and wants to be a part of the team, and you sell on them. It obviously kind of sucks, because, when you're a shit team in the bottom of the league, if you've got players who actively want to be there and be part of the team, I think you should do what you can to try and keep them. But obviously that wasn't the case here. But anyways, yes, Matt Rempe, the new heavyweight in the league.
The new heavyweight. What do you think
quite
about
a name for
him?
himself.
Yeah, what do you think about him taking on Reeves?
Oh, I got it. We were gonna talk about this before we started recording, but then we were like, nah, we gotta save this. I have a few thoughts about it.
Let's hear those few thoughts.
All things considered, from the start of the game to the end of the game, what a bad look for Ryan Reeves.
Yeah, you think?
What a horrible 100%. Reeves is like, in terms of kind of the big guy, the enforcer part of the game. Reeves is probably the top dog, the champ.
Okay.
And it's so bad to watch him, because I think he's like 30, 36, 37 now. Like he's getting up there in age. He's more on the back end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he went out there and was trying to fight Rempe. Like, it should be the other way around. It should be the young kid, the up and comer. He should be trying to pick a fight with Reeves and be like, "Hey, I want to show you that I'm willing to go toe to toe with you." And Reeves was desperate for this fight. He was chasing after this fight, and it got to the point where in the third period where they dropped the gloves, and you could see Rempe was like, he's like, "Fuck, man, I don't want to do this." You could see me kind of drops his head back, and like his shoulders take a dip, and he's like, he didn't want it. But Reeves kept pushing, and he felt he was backed into a corner where it's like, I did come into this league as a fighter, and that's kind of my role. But it's like he should still, because he's only 21, I think, or 22 or something. Like, he's a young kid.
He's young. He's a young kid.
He should be picking his battles. It should not be that the top dog, the big Ryan Reeves coming in and being like, "Hey, you've made a name for yourself, but now you have to fight me, and I'm gonna keep poking at you and coming at you until you fight me." Like, in my opinion, it should be the other way around. It should be the young up and coming kid going up to the vet and being like, "Hey man, like let's go. I wanna test myself against you," not feeling forced like you have to fight type of thing. But he held his own. I don't think there was a clear winner in that fight, really. So,
Fair.
I think it hurt Reeves's image more than it did Rempe's, honestly.
You think it hurt Reeves more?
I mean, like, I don't know how much they'll fire him, but like Reeves said that he was up until fucking 6:30 in the morning after that fight.
Really?
Yeah. Now,
like because of a
what does that
conk
mean?
or
I don't think so. I'm not exactly sure what the full reasoning was, but at the end of the day, if Reeves is the big top dog and he's going out there actively chasing after this kid, being like, "You have to fight me, you have to prove yourself," and Reeves can't even put him down. I mean, the kid didn't want to fight. He very clearly didn't want to fight. He all but said it, and he still went in and held his own, totally fine.
All right. And
So,
I get what you're saying. I hear you. I'm picking up what you are putting down. So beyond just that Reeves fight, what do you think? I think this is like anytime I see a Reeves highlight, I'm like, man, I wish Don Cherry was still riffing on Coach's Corner about this guy.
mhm.
Give me
Yeah.
your best Don Cherry impression of him reacting to Matt Reeves or Matt Rempe.
I got to choose my words carefully here. Can't get canceled like our boy Don. Yeah,
just don't do what he did and throw a "you people" in there.
Actually, someone sent me a clip like a couple weeks ago, and it was of Don Cherry basically saying the exact same thing he said, but it was like 15 years ago. And it was and no one had an issue. But then in today's age, he said basically the exact same thing he said back then, and he got the boot for it. Well, shit, if I'm Don Cherry, I have to mispronounce everyone's name.
Matt Rempe.
Rompe.
Jeez, what a beauty. All right, that's all. We're milking this too much.
But like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. And again, everybody has different opinions. Everybody obviously wanted to see that fight. Like, that was literally the entire thing going into the game. Like, it wasn't two of the best teams in the East going head to head. Some of the biggest names in Matthews versus Panarin. It was like, are we gonna see Reeves and Rempe fight? And it's like, and again, I mean, they fought. I don't think it was anywhere near the buildup. It was kind of funny how everybody went into the game thinking it was going to be, beginning of the game, the first time they're on the ice together, this or that. It happened when there was like, I think 9 or 8 minutes left in the third period. So if people tuned into that game for that alone, they either missed it or they watched almost the entirety of the game to see it happen. And I don't think it lived up to the hype, but I give Rempe so much credit for willing to throw him when he evidently didn't want to. So you got to give him credit for that. Got to give him credit for that.
Yeah. All right. Do you got some clown news?
Some clown news. Not really. I thought I had something, but again, I've been searching and scouring, and I can't find it. So, no, I don't believe that I do.
I had a feel good story.
All right.
So
let's hear it. What do we got? What do we got?
So as we're all aware, As we're all aware, Jason Kelsey retired.
Yeah.
Travis's brother. Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother.
Yeah. Donna Kelsey's son. Her oldest son.
Oldest, a good one. Walk-on running back at Cincinnati University.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
about
being mean to someone over text right now. So he retired.
Well, why the fuck would you send me that? You can't say that. No, I'm just kidding. Imagine. Totally just made you shit your pants. Anyways,
Not at all.
is it about the trainer?
Yeah, okay, I'll read it out.
Yeah. I'll get to it. Stop sending me nasty messages.
All right. I'm
me.
locked in. I'm sorry, I'm locked in. I just had to take care of a little bit of quick comedy business. There's a show tonight. Not sure if I'm going down. We're figuring that out, folks. We're figuring it out. Anyways. Jason Kelsey, there's an Eagles trainer who is currently battling cancer. They obviously, a trainer and a player have a very close relationship after many years together. Jason Kelsey had his trainer, battling cancer, tape his ankles for his retirement speech. Folks, if that doesn't bring a tear to your eye, I don't know what does. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really cool, like, great story. Like, I just love hearing those kind of things, and it really shows. Because there's a lot of people that view these guys as just athletes, and when you think of, you know, Jason Kelsey, a lot of people are like, oh, athlete, football player. But now that he's retired and he's not an active football player, you're going to start to see more of the human aspect and who he is just as a human, and just hearing something like this, I think really shows just the kind of person that he is. And with a lot of athletes, you don't get to see that side of him. So I think it's awesome that we get to hear that kind of stuff, and I think it's really classy of him to do that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good move. Okay, I remember now. I was looking. I got a clown for us.
All right.
Chiefs superfan, Chiefsaholic, has pleaded guilty to bank robbery, money laundering, and transporting stolen property across state lines. He faces up to 50 years in prison. When he is sentenced, he is also required to pay $532,000 in restitutions and will forfeit an autographed painting of Patrick Mahomes. Thoughts?
I don't even know. Like, what? I don't know. What do you think?
Fucking legend.
Yeah.
Is that not a fucking alpha move?
Yeah, that's actually a big dog move. That's some king shit right there. I could have, like, I almost wonder, like, that. I don't even know what mine was. I know I had one that was so good, but I don't even know at this point.
I love it. I saw that. I loved it. I saw that. I thought, now, after seeing this, now I am a Chiefs fan.
Oh, I found it. I know what it is now.
Your clown news?
Yeah.
Okay, what's yours? Give it to me. Give it to me real quick. Give it to me. Come on. We're running late. This
I don't
episode's
know.
going long because I wasted time.
I don't know if we talked about it before, but the whole investigation going on with the Sudbury Wolves in the OHL for allegedly placing bounties on players. So we now know that two players, one was, I don't have the names on hand here, but one was suspended for 15 games, and the other one I believe was 10 games. And the whole thing is based around jokes that were made in the group chat.
Okay,
Making jokes about,
how
hey,
bad was this group
next time
chat?
it was basically being like, oh, hey, $100 to whoever, because I think it all started because a player on an opposing team injured someone on the Wolves.
Oh,
And
that's
then
right, the bounties.
he put a joke in the allegedly, I don't know how serious it was, but he put something in the group chat saying like $100 to whoever knocks out or lays out so and so next time we play them or something. And that is kind of what the evidence was. So Two of them have been suspended. One for 15 games, one for 10 games. I think that's kind of goofy. You know what? I think if it's just teammates in a group chat throwing it around, like, how serious was it or anything? But I guess it's
Bit
a
harmless fun for sure, but
cornerstone for team group chats. You always got to pay attention because at the drop of a hat, boom, you can have to hand over
so
your
who
phone
leaked
and
it?
yeah, that's the thing. I don't know, but you never know. You could be in a position where all of a sudden Mike Babcock comes in. He's like, "Give me your phone. I'm going through your text messages, the team group chat to make sure you've been a good boy." Um, yeah, I don't know who leaked it. I'd like it. I mean, you kind of have to think it would be someone on the team, but at the same time, why would you do that? Especially when playoffs are coming up, and now you've got
Yeah, there's
two
there's a
guys
rat in
that
the
are
ranks
suspended.
right
It's
there,
like
man.
there's something going on. Yeah, it makes you wonder. So I think that's kind of a clown move. I think you got to have a little more proof than just 16, 17, 18. Just young adults. I think you can call them as being hockey. I think you can call them young adults joking around with their buddies in a group chat. I mean, I don't think that warrants a suspension. Like if they went out there and actually were like just lumberjacking buddy down and just feeding them and jumping them, that's one thing. But I think
That is
guys
that yeah,
joking
that's a
in
bit
a
of a
group
different
chat.
ball game at that point.
Yeah, well, exactly, right. And I think that's where it warrants the like a 10 to 15. But like for text in a group chat, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a little extreme.
Yeah, but that was mine. I'm glad I actually found it. But yeah, that's my clown news for this episode. So I can rest easy now.
That's fair. That was a good episode. We stalled a little bit. There was some stalling in there. Not going to pretend that there wasn't.
Yeah, but we got there.
We got
It's
there.
about the friends we made along the way, and we made friends with everybody who tuned
Exactly.
in this episode.
Hey, if you tuned in, you're a great person. Just know that. If you tuned in and listened to the end, hey, I'm a big fan of you. I'm a big fan of your work. You know?
Me? I appreciate that.
Of course you. You think I'm not a fan of your work?
You better be.
Buddy, I'm a
Better.
huge fan. I'm a huge fan.
You know what we're a fan of?
What?
You know what we're a big fan of?
W Energy, folks. W
Big
Energy
fan of
fueling us
W
for
Energy.
another episode. Are we still doing the plugs? W Energy, folks. Go to the W link in our bio. Use code PGO, 10% off at checkout. Gives you the crash-free, jitter-free energy you need with the crash and jitters that you don't need. Without those things, they do not have those things. Ladies and gentlemen, you go over to WEnergy.com right now. You use code PGO. That gets you 10% off at checkout. And you can find the links in our bio on all of our social medias at PGO Show on TikTok and Instagram, PG Overtime on X, and Postgame Overtime, Postgame one word on YouTube. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be coming back at you hot and better than ever after UFC 299 with a wrap-up show and hopefully some video in the very, very, very new future. We got a new segment we want to roll out. We're looking forward to you. We got so much things to do in this NFL offseason. So if you've been listening just for football, you stay tuned because, boy, do we have content for you. We love you. We will see you next week, and you have yourself a good fight night.